being this size. I'm in excruciating pain all the time. I'm 31 years old, but my joints are just...
So when that first wave of pain hits me, I start to panic because my mind starts racing with all the things that can go wrong.
Behind every transformation on My 600-Pound Life are struggles that cut deep. Some stories revealed moments so painful they brought fans to tears and showed the harsh reality of the journey. From heartbreaking setbacks to unimaginable challenges, these scenes left a lasting impact. Today, we're looking back at the most painful moments ever seen on My 600-Pound Life.
I needed to send the ambulance out here.
What's the problem? Tell me exactly what's happening.
I stood up last night. My left knee popped real loud and the pain's unbearable.
Have you been in the floor of this whole time, or were you able to?
No, I've been in the floor.
The simple act of standing has become so perilous that a misstep results in a call to emergency services. Paramedics have to haul Joe onto a stretcher because his body has become an immovable prison. The look on his face isn't just pain, it is pure despair. He calls his life a nightmare, and honestly, that feels like an understatement. He's only 31, but he's living in a state of constant fear and humiliation. This is the ultimate cry for help.
Real early, his daddy decided it was easier to get him to eat fast food instead of other things.
The relationship between me and my dad was strained.
Where did this all begin? It traces back to dear old dad. Now get this, instead of parenting, his father's brilliant solution to dealing with his son was to just buy him things. Video games and fast food became the stand-ins for actual attention and love. What a guy! Joe basically admits he would have traded every single possession for a sliver of his dad's time. The food wasn't just food. It was a replacement for a relationship. It became the comfort, the friend, and the emotional anesthetic for a wound that was never allowed to heal.
My sister,
Probably your mom some too.
she does what I tell her to because she don't want to get upset or anything like that.
Joe is not understanding.
Let's talk about the enablers, because every good tragedy needs a supporting cast. Who buys the food that's keeping an 800-pound man trapped in his own body? His sister and his mom. And why do they do it? Joe says it himself. They bring him whatever he wants because they're terrified of making him upset. This isn't love. It's a hostage situation where the weapon is guilt. They are so deep in the web of codependence that they can no longer distinguish between helping him and hurting him. Every meal they deliver is another link in the chain holding him down, and they just don't see it.
He has to eat around 10,000 calories a day to maintain his weight and gain like he has.
Dr. Nauzaradan, who is here to cut through all the nonsense, takes one look at Joe's staggering 800-pound frame and immediately calls him out. He shuts down the flimsy excuses and lays out the cold, hard math. To maintain that size, Joe has to be consuming around 10,000 calories a day. The doctor's message is crystal clear. Joe is too high risk for any kind of surgery. He isn't just giving advice. He's dropping an ultimatum. He demands Joe lose an absolutely massive 150 pounds on his own before he'll even consider it. The wake-up call has officially arrived, and it is brutally loud.
I'm mad myself. Not only did I not lose, but I can't. I'm really scared right now.
Hello.
Hello.
So I saw you a couple months ago and gave you a chance.
You will not believe this. For his first major follow-up, after all the talk and the big move to Houston, Joe gets on the scale, and what happens? He gained weight. His excuse? Oh, the stress of moving made him eat fast food. Dr. Now is having none of it and immediately calls him out, saying his story is mathematically not possible. This isn't just a stumble, it's a complete nosedive into failure. And Dr. Now takes the nuclear option. He's so concerned that he's sending Joe directly to the hospital for a full evaluation. The games are over. This is the ultimate realization of just how close to the edge Joe truly is.
Drinks. I'm drinking water now. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm feeling great.
Just show you that you can do it, and that's good. But I need you to continue going and get down to 650 pounds.
Here we are at a critical turning point. Joe has made some serious progress, losing a significant amount of weight, and you can see he's proud. But Dr. Now isn't throwing a party just yet. This is the tough love moment. The doctor acknowledges the success, but immediately reminds him of the goal. You are not at 650 pounds. There are no pats on the back, only the cold, hard number he still has to hit. For many, this would be a moment to give up, to feel like their effort wasn't enough. But for Joe, this is the final test. Can he push through the disappointment and finish the fight?
I have always been large, and it has ballooned into a very serious problem. I was feeling suicidal at some points.
This, everyone, is a genuine breakthrough. After the humiliation of gaining weight and the scare of the hospital, Joe is drowning in depression. But for the first time, he doesn't just retreat into a mountain of food. He admits he needs help and sees a therapist. And what happens? The emotional floodgates open. He finally starts talking about the years of neglect from his father, the pain, the feeling of worthlessness. These aren't manipulative tears we see in so many others. This is pure, raw catharsis. He's realizing that if he wants to fix his body, he has to confront the trauma he's been burying for decades. The real healing has just begun.
I've fought so hard to get this far. I'm too close to not make it.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, you?
Right? I'm lost.
After a full year of grueling work, therapy, and fighting every single day, Joe steps on the scale one last time. You can feel the tension in the room, and the number comes up: 652 pounds. He did it! Dr. Now finally approves him for surgery, and the sheer, unadulterated joy is overwhelming. His mother just breaks down in tears of relief. This isn't a magic trick. This is the result of an incredible battle against addiction and depression. He has truly, unequivocally earned this chance at a new life.
Hi.
Hey, you ready to go get weighed?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could lose 100 pounds to get the surgery, then I know I can lose 450 pounds with the surgery.
What an absolutely triumphant moment. Welcome to the first day of the rest of his life. Post-surgery, Joe is already a new man. He's up, he's moving, and for the first time, there is a genuine light in his eyes. The change is absolutely staggering. He acknowledges the year of hell he went through, but more importantly, he knows he's learned how to deal with his emotions without turning to food. He's not just lighter physically, he's lighter emotionally. This isn't the end of his journey, but it is a profoundly hopeful new beginning. He didn't just lose weight, he battled his demons, faced his trauma, and finally chose to live. Nathan's life is collapsing under unbearable weight, literally and emotionally. At 35, every action is agony, especially with the open sore festering on his leg. He wakes each morning to pain so overwhelming that simply existing feels like torture. He admits he doesn't even know his true weight anymore, a frightening detail that underscores his denial. His mornings are the hardest moments, a tidal wave of misery crashing the second he opens his eyes. This feels less like life and more like survival. Could this finally become Nathan's alarm bell, pushing him toward change? His difficult journey begins.
Because my weight pushes the air out of my body. So I started sleeping in my chair, but I hate that because it means that I can't sleep by my wife Amber anymore. She's usually gone by the time I get up. She's a school teacher and so am I.
Imagine waking up each day already in pain, only to discover that even sitting brings no relief. That's Nathan's grim reality, and it explains why he dreads mornings more than anything. The weight presses down relentlessly, his body screaming before the day even starts. Work is no longer possible. He's on medical leave, trapped at home with health worsening by the week. The only exercise left is walking his dogs. But even that short activity leaves him winded and overwhelmed. His body has become his greatest enemy, and he's slipping further into a cycle of discomfort and hopelessness daily.
Sometimes I don't get as clean as I want to. Sometimes my wife has to help me, but when she's gone, I try to do it on my own.
The wound on Nathan's leg is horrifying, the result of uncontrolled lymphedema. It leaks fluid constantly, a grotesque reminder of the toll his weight has taken. After showers, he must carefully dry and protect it, terrified of infection spiraling into something even worse. The sight alone is gut-wrenching, but for Nathan, it's everyday reality. No one should live in such conditions, bound to a body that punishes him with every movement. It's more than embarrassing, it's dangerous, a festering symbol of a life spinning out of control. Watching him endure it feels both heartbreaking and unbearably sad to witness.
There isn't a moment where I'm not craving something to eat. No matter what I'm facing, food will make it better. Food is my relief and my comfort, and it's what I constantly want.
With all his struggles, food has become Nathan's last refuge. He despises his condition, hates his limitations, but eating offers him temporary escape. Each meal becomes a breath of fresh air, a fleeting moment where his worries fade. He admits food is the one thing keeping him sane, but it's also the very trap chaining him down. His dependence is obvious, the classic cycle of comfort turning into destruction. The sadness deepens when you realize he eats not out of hunger, but out of desperation. Food isn't fuel anymore. It's the drug that both soothes and slowly destroys him.
Because it made me happy. But the downside of that, obviously that led to me putting on weight. I didn't realize it at first.
Nathan's story with food stretches back to childhood, where it was present in every aspect of family life. In his home, food wasn't just nourishment, it was celebration, comfort, and even medicine. Headaches? Have a snack? Sadness? Here's a plate. Growing up surrounded by overindulgence, he quickly put on weight. School made everything worse. His size made him a target for cruel bullies. To cope, Nathan leaned harder into to eating, making food his shield against pain and rejection. That coping strategy became a lifelong addiction. What once helped him survive childhood trauma is now threatening his adulthood and very existence.
From the first time I saw Nathan, I could see what made him special. He's a great person. He is an amazing theater director.
The disappointment of failed weight loss surgery lingers heavily over Nathan's life. He once tried to change, but the procedure didn't move forward, and with that setback, his motivation collapsed. He gave up entirely, retreating into food as both punishment and comfort. The silver lining is his devoted wife, who stands beside him despite everything. She's his support system, encouraging him to fight again. Yet their shared love for food complicates things. They eat together excessively, bonding over the very habit destroying them. It's a dangerous partnership where love and addiction intertwine, fueling each other instead of healing.
So now I'm at a point where I'm 600 pounds and I have a huge lymphedema mass on my leg that pretty much keeps me stuck in my chair all day, every day.
But love strained by illness begins to fracture. Nathan's wife admits she can no longer watch him eat with abandon, not after years of watching him give up on change. Resentment creeps in. She is disgusted by his refusal to fight after surgery failed. Their marriage, once held together by food and routine, is now unraveling under the pressure. Nathan fears he may lose more than his health. He could lose his family entirely. The reality is brutal. His choices now affect not just himself, but his wife and children. Without intervention soon, he risks losing everything.
Being able to have, I guess, an intimate relationship, not like a sexual relationship, because Nathan and I have never.
Nathan's wife feels the crushing weight of their situation daily. She longs for the man she once enjoyed life with, but is now reduced to eating beside him and providing constant care. The resentment bleeds into fear. She worries she's following in his footsteps. Already weighing 400 pounds, she blames Nathan's inertia for enabling her decline too. Her concern is raw. If Nathan doesn't fight back, they could both end up bedbound, trapped in the same destructive cycle. What was once companionship now feels like a slow march towards shared destruction, and it terrifies her to think ahead.
Here's mine.
I know.
If he goes on this, it would be benefit both of them. Because if he can lose the weight, it'd make both their lives.
Finally, intervention arrives. Nathan's wife enlists her mother's help to push him toward change. Together, they convince him to take the daunting step of visiting Dr. Now in Houston. For Nathan, even the trip feels overwhelming. A long drive carrying both physical pain and emotional weight. The family hopes his condition isn't too severe for treatment. It's a pivotal moment, a crossroads. Either he accepts this opportunity as his lifeline or slips further toward inevitable decline. The car ride may be grueling, but what awaits in Houston could determine whether Nathan gets another chance at life.
That he's committed. So he either does this and hit his goal to show me what I need to see from, or weight loss surgery won't be enough.
At last, Nathan reaches Houston, surprising everyone by surviving the grueling journey in stable condition. The scale reveals a staggering number, 607 pounds. The reality is sobering, yet Dr. Now immediately provides direction. Nathan must follow strict instructions, including diet changes and prescribed exercise. The demand is daunting. Lose 60 pounds in 2 months before surgery can even be considered. It's a brutal but necessary ultimatum. Nathan's future now hangs in the balance. If he proves capable, surgery awaits. If not, his health and family will continue to suffer. The responsibility is his alone to carry forward.
I don't even know how far we walk.
About 1/8 of a mile.
We can turn around if you
No,
need
go to the stop sign. I'm good. It hurts.
Impressively, Nathan rises to the challenge. Since leaving the hospital, he has shown real dedication, sticking to the plan with unexpected focus. He begins walking with his wife, each step building momentum. She beams with pride, thrilled to see him finally investing in change. For the first time, Nathan appears determined not just to lose weight, but to save his future. Every pound lost feels like redemption, a piece of control reclaimed. Still, questions linger. Will this effort be enough to secure approval for surgery? The groundwork is there, but the test of commitment still awaits.
And I think I have a good chance at it. At the last appointment, I was 607 pounds. And Dr. Now told me to lose at least 60 pounds in 2 months.
The results are staggering. At his second appointment, Dr. Now expected a 60-pound loss. Nathan surpassed that, shedding an incredible 72 pounds. Pride radiates from his face, joy replacing shame. For once, the scale reflects his hard work instead of disappointment. His wife celebrates alongside him, relieved to see her husband finally motivated. The victory proves one thing: Nathan had the strength all along, but he needed the right push. His dedication silences doubts, and now all eyes turn to Dr. Now. Would his progress finally earn him the green light for surgery that once slipped away?
16 when I had a procedure done, and now I'm 60 pounds heavier than I was when I started that. There's just not words for that emotion right now.
The moment of triumph arrives. After months of struggle, sacrifice, and determination, Dr. Now delivers the words Nathan has long awaited. He is approved for weight loss surgery. The journey wasn't easy, but his hard work finally paid off. Nathan and his wife celebrate, both overjoyed and relieved that he will get the procedure denied to him years before. This moment symbolizes not just progress, but redemption, proof that setbacks don't have to define the future. Nathan's story is far from over, but for the first time in years, the path ahead feels hopeful and filled with possibility.
Then once he goes back on solids, you should be able to lose at least 20 pounds each.
Every day it gets harder to move, harder to stand, harder to walk, and harder to... So it takes just about everything in me to finally convince myself to get up, because I know how bad it's going to be. But it's a struggle, and I have a lot of anxiety.
Justin's reality has collapsed into a nightmare of flesh and despair, where every breath and movement becomes a battle he rarely wins. Simply lifting himself in bed is an act of agony, while walking is impossible without pain. When he looks into the mirror, he doesn't see a person anymore. He sees a mistake, someone who allowed himself to become one of the heaviest men alive. The anguish in his eyes tells the entire story. This isn't living, it's existing inside a self-imposed prison cell built of his own body, with no key to escape, only desperation.
Her back, and with that got addicted to painkiller. And when they stopped her prescription, she eventually started going to harder stuff like heroin. But as a child, all I knew was that my mom started to become unreliable, and she would even just vanish for periods of time. So I remember everything felt uncertain.
His backstory reveals the tragic path that led him here. Justin's childhood was fractured by his mother's descent into heroin addiction, leaving him alone and neglected when he needed her most. After an accident, she disappeared emotionally, sometimes physically. When his father remarried, the situation didn't improve, it worsened. In his new household, Justin was treated like an outsider, stripped of affection, and constantly reminded he didn't belong. That rejection carved scars into his identity. Food became the only reliable comfort, the one constant in a chaotic, uncertain life. Every pound now represents years of loneliness and emotional abandonment.
2 waffles with that?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I look forward to her visits, just like I did when I was young. Because when she's here, I feel loved and wanted, just like I did then. And our routine is the same as it's always been.
When his mother reappears in his life, her attempts at love manifest in the most destructive way imaginable. Instead of encouragement, she serves him enormous plates of waffles and sausage, comforting foods that are killing him. She believes she's nurturing, but in reality, every bite adds another link to the chains keeping him trapped. Her affection disguises sabotage, smothering him in food rather than support. This is codependency at its most tragic. She cannot see the truth, and neither can he, that her version of love isn't saving him. It's sentencing him to die under the weight of her devotion.
Realize how important it is to make the changes you need now?
I do.
Because right now you're 27. If you keep this up and the way you're going, you're not going to make it to 30. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to work on that and make the changes right now.
Then arrives Dr. Now, delivering brutal honesty like a lightning strike. Justin weighs nearly 700 pounds, but Dr. Now doesn't coddle him. He immediately identifies the depression fueling his eating and his mother's destructive enabling. His words slice through denial. If you continue on this path, you won't live to see 30. It's harsh, but it's the truth Justin needs to hear. For the first time, someone doesn't offer him food or pity, but a demand for change. Dr. Now sets the goal: lose 10 pounds in 2 months. It's a wake-up call delivered without compromise.
It'll be an opportunity to rebuild the relationship that I have with my mom. This is a real good time for her to be a solid presence in my life. So right now I'm feeling pretty good.
The first devastating stumble comes when Justin's mother makes a phone call that shatters his plan. She tells him she cannot move to Houston, and instantly his hope crumbles. You see the devastation in his face, the raw scars of abandonment ripping open once again. He is left with a choice. Does he let the betrayal consume him and retreat into the familiar comfort of food? Or does he stand on his own for the first time? This moment is pivotal, the deciding point where he either sinks into despair or rises above. His survival depends entirely on this choice.
Biological mom.
My actual mom came in and out a lot. She had some issues with drugs, and she'd just sort of drop off.
The emotional breakthrough arrives in therapy. Justin doesn't hide behind excuses or drown his feelings in pizza. He finally speaks with honesty. He shares how his stepmother treated him as a burden, how he clung to his addicted mother despite her flaws, simply because she believed him. These aren't rehearsed tears, but genuine confessions from years of bottled trauma. For the first time, he faces the pain directly without smothering it under food. This isn't just progress, it's a transformation. It's the moment Justin proves he's willing to confront his demons rather than eat them away in silence.
I really did want for us to have that chance to build a relationship that we never had the opportunity for. And when things didn't happen, I actually felt guilty because I was a little relieved.
Justin flies all the way back home, sits down with his mother, and delivers the confrontation a lifetime in the making. When she claims she would never leave him, he looks her dead in the eye and says, "But that's what you do. That's what you've always done." He's not shouting, but his words are carrying the weight of decades of disappointment. He is taking back his power, demanding stability and accountability. This isn't a plea for sympathy. It's the declaration of a man who is finally refusing to be a victim of his past. He is applying tough love to his own life, and it is incredible to watch.
Sir.
And you have lost 292 pounds from day one I saw you.
Yeah.
So that's almost loss of 200 pounds in a year. That's excellent. You're doing great.
The moment of triumph finally arrives when Justin steps on the scale and the number reads 395 pounds. He has lost an astonishing 292 pounds, almost half his body. The victory radiates in Dr. Now's proud expression as he calls Justin's progress excellent and approves him for skin removal surgery. This isn't just about the numbers, it's about respect, dignity, and self-worth. Justin fought for every single pound, confronting his demons head-on. The surgery symbolizes more than a medical procedure. It's the ultimate prize, proof that he has taken control of his life and refused to surrender to despair.
I wasn't happy very often. It was a challenge because I was in a really bad spot, mentally and physically. The design that I'm getting has a feet and the state of Texas in it.
The finale is a moment of healing and renewal. Justin sits alongside his father, the man who stood strong when others failed him, and together they commemorate the journey with tattoos of a phoenix rising above Texas. The phoenix represents rebirth, survival, and transformation, a fitting symbol for Justin's new beginning. This is not about food anymore. It's about trust restored, trauma faced, and the rebuilding of a future. A year ago, he was broken and hopeless. Now, he has risen from the ashes, no longer defined by pain, but by strength. Justin is finally free to soar.